What makes a movie good? What is the single most important part of cinema? You might say it's the script. A bad film is a badly written one. Or perhaps it's the visuals, the cinematography. Is it the acting, the editing? These are all good answers, but the key aspect in my mind is the sound. Think of what makes you feel, what makes you cry. I think of sound. Any good scene, any good moment is tied to it. I would argue that it's the single most important part of a good film. Sure, a bad script can ruin a movie, but I've seen amazing films that haven't a single word spoken. And good visuals can be extremely effective, but take away all the sound effects and music and all you're left with is gorgeous nothingness. Take away the visuals, however, and you're left with a song, or a story told through sound. People listen to music and listen to audiobooks, but you don't see anyone enjoying looking at stock footage or silent moving pictures. Sound is necessary to invest the viewer, and if you don't believe in the power of sound, I'm here to show you. Sound gives a story two things: emotion and understanding. A lack of sound or bad sound design in music can completely destroy a scene's effect. Take one of recent cinema's most emotional scenes, for example, Han Solo's death.
Thank you.
It's beautifully effective. The music follows the emotion of the scene note for note, and the sound is shocking and abrasive as it should be. Other elements are obviously at play. The effectiveness of the moment is not reliant on the sound alone. The lighting follows the scene's tone and the acting is pivotal, but if I were to take away one cinematic element, removing the sound would have the greatest negative effect. You would understand what's happening, and it'd be sad, but you feel nothing. The scene would be bland and utterly devoid of emotion. This scene with the same music and sound but without the gorgeous lighting or professional acting would be much more effective than the same visual experience with bad audio. The absence of audio is one issue, but bad sound design is just as, if not more, detrimental to a work of cinema. Let's play that scene again, but with tonally inappropriate music and ghastly sound design. Now you're likely feeling something, but it's more likely laughter than sadness or shock. Here the sound is working directly against the emotion of the scene and completely ruins its effectiveness. While many other aspects of film are important, rarely can one of them make or break cinema. You don't need good lighting or color or cinematography. Black and white films or films shot at 480p can still be effective, as long as they have decent sound. Even silent films can't go without silence, they need appropriate music. Sound is also huge in understanding a scene. This is less obvious because it's all subconscious. I'm going to show you multiple examples of where sound is vital to giving the viewer necessary information.
And now you talking jungle. The ground soft, rain, never ending. My pop said this shit. Before we like that, never shut up with that. You got that. War is the only chance you got at doing something redeeming.
Both of these examples use audio to direct the viewer's attention. In Baby Driver, we start by hearing a ringing, which we know from earlier in the film is from Baby, the main character's hearing loss. From the get-go, this audio signal shows that we are inside his head, hearing essentially what he hears. Then slowly the audio retracts. The visual shows different objects that Baby needs to observe, and when the audio leaves, we are left focusing only on them, just as he's doing. The absence of audio is just as important and effective as its presence. In The Punisher, again the audio is muted and only the sound of the clinking of the man's chain is heard, showing the viewer where his focus is. Both of these examples use sound to give insight into a character's mind, what they're thinking. something which is very difficult to do in cinema. Without the sound design, Baby would just be looking around a bank. There'd be no tension, and there'd probably be confusion as to what he's looking at. In The Punisher, the man is being characterized by the fact that he's not listening to what's told to him, something that'll come up later. The absence of this design would actively detract from his character and confuse the viewer. I'm going to play my last example of informative audio without the audio first to show how ineffective and lacking it is. You get that someone's digging, and they're probably concerned, but much is unclear. Let's try it again with the audio. The audio adds information that the visual can't display. The man is digging into something otherworldly and disturbing, but because it's dark, the viewer can't see what his shovel is hitting. That's where the audio comes in. By the use of gross, bubbly, unnatural sounds, the viewer knows what's at the bottom of that hole without having to be shown it. The dark ambience and breathing also helped with the tension of the scene. These are just 3 ways that audio could give information necessary to the story to the viewer, without a word spoken or a shot to tell them so. Also in Stranger Things is a great example of something that audio conveys beautifully: tension. Tension comes from the eerie, the unknown, and the unsettling, all of which cannot easily be shown through the visual alone. In this scene, look how sound directs the emotion of the scene and builds tension.
Duck, 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 duck,
I think we should go.
Without sound, this scene would just be some weird glances and increasingly quick edits. The sound is beautifully exaggerated, showing how the characters, Nancy and Jonathan, feel unsettled and are fearful. The sound isn't realistic, but its intensity reflects the mood of the scene perfectly, making it tense even if the setting is just 2 people sitting on a park bench. Sound is speaking to the subconscious and influencing us emotionally in ways that we don't directly understand or take note of, making it all the more effective in making us feel. When you're watching a movie, you aren't thinking about the sound, which is why it has so much power in immersing you in a world and is so pivotal to get right. We are incredibly sensitive to sound, and if something sounds wrong, we pick up on it immediately. That's why sound must be carefully designed to fit a scene, and without it, so much of our investment and understanding is lost. Everywhere around us is sound. City ambiances, cars, computers, the chatter of people, everything else. Our world is filled with sound, so any fictional world must reflect that so that the viewer can buy into it. And if it's designed well, it gives a film all of its emotion, all of its credibility, all of its depth, and without it, cinema would be an art form long forgotten.